Hello, my name is Katie, and I am here with my West African egg-eating snake, also known as a Dasypeltis gansey. Are you just staring? Hi. She has this She just tilted her head. She just tilted her head. Are you a dog? I knew it. Okay, now I don't know if I should continue until she stops staring at me. So what I would like you to do is to grab a notebook and a pencil and go ahead and write down anything that stands out to you, all the supplies you'll need and stuff. That way you can just kind of analyze it to see if an egg-eating snake would be right for you. I already made an African egg-eating snake pros and cons video, so if you want to watch it, it's right up here. Okay, assuming you watched pros and cons video and you have a notebook, let's get started. Let's first talk about the diet, because this is generally the thing that people are most interested in. Egg-eating snakes, as their name suggests, obviously eat eggs. She is currently on Coturnix quail eggs, which you can find at your local Asian market. So if it's a female, it will probably be able to eat those eggs, but on occasion, adult females can sometimes take small chicken eggs as well. Don't get one with the expectation that it will be able to, because if you get one expecting it to get big enough to eat chicken eggs and then you don't have a food source ready in case it can't, that can end very badly. So expect that as an adult, if it's a female, we'll be able to eat Coturnix quail eggs. However, if it's a male, as an adult, they usually can get big enough to eat button quail eggs, babies, and sometimes even adult males. Here's a rare sight you're about to see, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes adult males are only big enough to eat finch eggs, which is this. This is tiny. Do you see this thing? It's tiny. My male right now probably isn't big enough to eat button quail eggs. I could give it a try, but I just don't have high hopes. So he is on finch eggs right now, and finch eggs are very hard to come by. This is the egg that is just, I cannot find it anywhere. I don't know why. Finches lay eggs a lot, like unfertilized eggs a lot. Not a lot, but they do lay frequently. I'm actually thinking of getting finches because it's that hard to come by, and with me breeding my egg-eating snakes, a baby will need about one of these every single week. Definitely not easy to come by. If you have a finch owner near you, then you can kindly ask them for their unfertilized eggs, and that way they're not just being wasted by getting thrown away, but they're actually being utilized for egg-eating snakes. Now let's talk about setup. The best way to measure how big of an enclosure you're going to be providing for your egg-eating snake is to stretch your female out as long as it can possibly go, and as you can see, they get very long. She is almost 3.5 feet, and she still might grow another 6 inches or so. She's currently in a 50-gallon Exoterra, and my male is in a 20-gallon enclosure right now. So as long as your snake, stretched out to as long as it can fit along one side of the enclosure comfortably, your cage is probably big enough. So as far as inside of the enclosure goes, they're going to obviously need some stuff to play with, so to speak. Snakes don't really play, but they do like to slither through enrichment. So I like to add in a grapevine. There's also this like structure thing that I have, and then I also have some faux foliage in there. And for the substrate, I just use plain aspen shavings. All snakes need a cold end and a warm end of the enclosure, and there should be a hide on either side of the enclosure. I'd recommend something that fills at least a third of the enclosure with heat. This is the heat mat that I got, and it is by, I usually get the Zoo Med brand, but this one is just like an off brand called iPower. I've never tried it. I thought I'd try it out. It's a lot cheaper than the Zoo Med brand, so I will test it out and see what I think, and then I'll tell you guys in a little bit. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Katie's Pet Project. There will be a link in the description box below, and I will just share it on my story sometime what I think of it, so keep an eye out. But the heat mat alone can get too hot and result in a fire, result in your snake getting burned. So I actually strongly suggest getting a thermostat with your heat mat. This is just the one I use. It's again an off brand. There's another one called Jumpstart that I use, and I also use this kind. So I found they both work the same, but the Jumpstart brand is twice as expensive, so you can just get this one just to save a little money. They'll also obviously need a water bowl. Let's now talk about their lifespan. So their lifespan kind of varies. It depends if you're going the wild caught route or the captive bred route. I recommend the captive bred route. They'll just have a higher survival rate, and they will generally be healthier. As I've mentioned, I am a soon-to-be egg-eating snake breeder. So if you want to pre-order, website link down below in a couple of days, maybe even today, I don't know. So you could just pre-order if you want to, but you don't have to. There will be details as to how to get on the wait list in the website once it's uploaded. So let's just stop talking like this now. Good idea. So if you get a wild caught specimen, they can live anywhere from 8 to 10 years generally. But if you get a captive bred specimen, they can live closer to 10 to 15 years. Now let's talk about handling. A lot of people say these guys don't like being handled. I found that to be very, very wrong. She's kind of like indifferent to it. She doesn't really care. She likes to explore, and I think she just likes me because I'm warm. But my little guy, oh my gosh, he does not like being put back. I'm convinced that he loves being handled. So it all depends on the snake. However, it is a misconception that you cannot handle them if they are showing off their defense mechanism. I've actually found this to be very, very untrue. Treat it like any other snake that would have teeth and is trying to show off its defense. You would have to overcome that and try to handle them and get them to overcome it as well. Other snakes calm down after like 5 to 10 minutes on average. These guys calm down right away. It might stress them out a little bit at first, but acknowledge their limits and you should be just fine. You can kind of tell by their body language how stressed they are. I can tell she's pretty chill right now. She's smelling, she's exploring, she's not squirmy. I can tell that she's not super stressed out right now. As you guys know, their defense mechanism is to mimic the saw-scaled viper. Obviously, they don't have teeth, they don't have fangs, so there's no venom involved. They're not at all dangerous. The worst they can do is gum you. I realized that I haven't had my male out in this entire video, so we'll just have him out for this last little section. We're going to be talking about males versus females. This is all up to personal preference. I know a lot of people who prefer females over males just because they end up eating Coturnix quail eggs, but if you have a finch egg supplier and even like a button quail egg supplier, there's no problem. A lot of people will syringe feed their snakes. I don't personally recommend that. If you do decide to go that route, I definitely recommend going to a vet first just to make sure you're doing it properly. I found that they generally have very similar temperaments, so that doesn't really matter. Honestly, if I were you, I would just get what you can get your hands on. If you find an egg-eating snake at all, just take what you can get. They're very, very similar. So if you prefer a bigger snake, you can get a female. If you prefer a smaller snake, you can get a male. If you have a supplier for the food for the males, you can also get a male. If you have a supplier for the food for the females, you can get a female. Honestly, it's just up to personal preference and your specific situation. Also, let me just show you the size comparison between my male and female. My male is still in quarantine right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put her back and wash my hands, and then I'll go ahead and get him out. They usually would be able to be together, but he's in quarantine, so for good measure, this is my female and this is my male. He's definitely a small noodle. This is Toothless. I just realized, did I ever say my other snake's name? So my female's name is Omelet. This is Toothless. I named him Toothless because, you know, he has no teeth. So yeah, if you want to get a male, this is what you're signing up for. He is about full grown. He'll probably get a little bit thicker and just like gain more width in general, and now he's doing it. Are you kidding me? Why are you guys staring at me so much today? So those are pretty much the basics, a good guideline. Also, everything I said in this video was strictly opinionated. Take it with a grain of salt, do your own research. Also, a lot of this stuff will just come with owning them. I hope this was helpful. Subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below any questions you may have, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!